That didn't work, Paul.
Didn't work.
Yeah. Go to the other side. I'm trying to reach the center. Come on. I got the bottom of it.
What I'm looking for. Oh, look at that.
Huh?
How cool is that, Paul?
And then
25 degrees different.
and then put a fan on here.
Yeah. And I know.
What? We just got to tie it on there.
You know all we need? Right.
Clamp, 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 clamp. Right? Little squeeze clamps. Or you just wrap it all over. And Paul's thing.
Take the extra. Right. Take the extra. There go here.
Hope it don't blow away on us now. Have some clip. Now, Paul.
I got stakes. I seen them yesterday.
Hold it now. So take a chain, wrap it around the corner.
Yeah, I think like this, put the fucking motor stuff it down, take a strap, run down from the top, tie it to it.
Alright.
Move it right over here.
Where we're working at.
You got your finger funny?
Huh?
You know what I mean? Got it in?
Yeah. Nope, just fold it right here.
Then we drag it out, when you tack it right there. You know what we don't use, we 30 foot away.
Pull it over here, right?
Put this motor right there. Go strap on it.
Let's strap it.
Yeah. I got one more strap right there. You know what I mean?
Or,
I got plenty of strap too.
it ain't going nowhere. I got one side. That makes it smooth. Pulls right out that way. No fighting it. Then I loosen up a couple springs, pull it right out.
Any buckets out of that now?
I don't think these two come apart.
I'll get a chair. Get up now.
For what? I'm not going to be bending it. I'm going to be running it through my stripper, so I don't want to bend it. I need a magnet out of the back of my trailer. Make sure all this stuff is aluminum. Comes right out. 2 or 3 foot long. Tighten it with a grinder, makes it flush. You can do this with a pair of wire cutters. You can do it with a pair of wire cutters, wire snips, whatever you want. Pull it back and then it literally just pulls out that easy. Aluminum. Number 1. I'll strip that. Hello. 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 Hilda. Call me?
Yeah. What are you doing?
I'm working in my yard, scrapping metal.
Are you gonna come get the trailer?
When?
Anytime today?
Oh, you filled it already?
No, Mom told me I needed to have it all out. So I just emptied what I had on it into the other trailer.
Why didn't you fill it?
And I haven't had no time to. Really?
Okay. Alright.
So, I emptied what I had on it into the other trailer.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later on this afternoon once they get home.
That's right. She said, Mom, just stay away.
Better remind me later, 'cause I'm working all day. I'm in my yard trying to make money.
Okay.
I don't make much money, so I gotta make it.
I know. All right.
Love you.
Love you.
That copper. Why? There's stuff in there. This is stuff I'm stripping. Yeah, but it's not ready for stripping. It's got to be cut off. The end's got to be cut. This is in there. Yeah, the ends are cut off mostly, but yeah. Gonna make sure everything. I can't put this kind with that kind. That still has to be this. I'll just separate. I'd rather see it separated. I'll just grab it by a handful and bring it to the side. Something you always want to look out for when you're doing this type of wire, because you can get mixed up very easily with this one here, which is a galvanized. Sometimes when they put the electrical cables through, they use cables that look like this. Some of them are galvanized metal, And the good way to tell is if it oxidizes right here. There's an oxidization on that, as opposed to that. Aluminum will oxidize, but it doesn't look like this. This will actually rust. So this is just steel, and this is nice aluminum. So make sure you separate them when you pull your wires out. But the way I do it, the way my daddy taught me way back in the day was take a grinder, cut that thing flush off just like that. You only want to make them 2 or 3 feet long, and then you can see that wire is stuck. You know, it's down there. Turn my camera angle just for a second. The wire's in there, okay? So what I'm going to do is this stuff unravels. So what I'm going to do is just take any piece of it, really. You don't have to be any special piece. Pull on it, it will start unraveling. This is the metal one, so they unravel a lot harder because it's actually made of steel. But as soon as you get that unraveled just enough to where you can get a good grip on the wire that's inside, generally you will be able to pull that out. If I had a pair of pliers, it might work better. On the steel ones, sometimes it can be a little bit harder because there's paper covering the copper part, and there's actually an aluminum piece here on this outside. But you tug on it, that'll come on. Now that's going to go in the shred bin. I'm going to put the aluminum in my aluminum bin. I'm going to have to get the paper off of that, so I'll put that down here for processing when I'm ready. Aluminum. Sometimes you can get it to where there's a little piece like that right there hanging out. It's still cut flush, and I cut them into 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot sections. You want to just grab a hold of that. Voila. And it just is so much easier to take these apart this way, as opposed to trying to cut them down into smaller pieces, unwind them. So, there you go. Throw that right into your good copper bin. Again, you might run into these things all the time. Again, I just picked up 2 pieces. He's just cutting up no matter what it is. I have to determine what is metal, what is aluminum. I can do that by looking at it. And I imagine, to be honest, you could too, because you can see the oxidized on this. Again, sometimes these metal ones can be harder. Number 1, it's steel. Number 2, the paper on the inside causes friction. So on this one, just to make sure that I don't have any problems starting it, I'm going to loosen up the back end. I'm going to come around here to the front. We'll do the same thing. You can pretty much look at it and tell where you're going to grab it. And after a couple times, it will start to break loose. But this is steel, much heavier than a piece of aluminum, so it's going to take you a minute. But for my way, what I was taught as a kid from my dad was cut them down first. And you want to get yourself about 1/2 inch or so of this hanging out. At least that's what I do. If I can get a hold to that piece right there, sometimes cutters aren't the best, pliers are better, and just start pulling. And even though you have the resistance of all the paper, it'll still 99% of the time you pull out of it. You're going to throw that in the shred pile. This, process it with the rest of your copper that has the plastic on it. A little bit different getting this off. Then again, one more time, I'm going to up close here. Aluminum. Hoping you can see all that. I'm about blind out here. I should probably be standing in the shade. Okay, you got aluminum. It's been cut. You see what Paul's doing. Nice grinder. Cut it. Obviously, after they're cut, they're going to be just kind of square on the ends. The aluminums, you generally don't have to take apart that end. The steel ones, just because of the friction, sometimes you do. It doesn't matter where you grab this. Wherever you grab it, it's going to start coming apart the first time you squeeze it. I do recommend pliers over cutters. And then I'm just going to uncoil that a little bit. Once I get a little bit, as long as I have gloves on, because this is sharp. Do not grab that with your fingers. As long as you have enough to grab a hold of. See how easy it is to get this stuff out? Then you got to run it through the stripper that Jimbo Scrap has. Go look at his wire stripper video. He's got a good one. And he'll show you stripping this wire. Jimbo Scrap. And he bought his stripper on Amazon. So, as Paul cuts, I grab any one. You can always tell the aluminum because of how easy they unwrap and how easy they actually pull out. Don't you love that? Right into the aluminum bend. That's good solid aluminum. Doesn't matter to me if it's steel or if it's aluminum. You're going to find a little bit more resistance or just, harder, I guess I should say. Because you can't just strip a little piece off and then grab it and spin it unless you have some real thick gloves. These gloves are heavy duty. Mechanical wear, I love them. You can pull that stuff and just start unwinding it. Like that. Now, I think the only reason why I'm able to do that so easily on this one is because, yeah, it is one of the aluminum ones. And zip, zap, zoom, aluminum chopper. Now, to me, I mean, this might be actually the way that everybody does theirs. And some people, I'll be honest with you, I've seen them literally throw this right in their stuff. So everybody scraps their own way, but for me, this is the most fun. Always. Like I said, I should probably have a pair of pliers, but it really doesn't matter. And if it is aluminum, unwind a little bit of it, grab it, pull it out. And I want to tell you one thing, by the time you're done, you are going to have a lot of brand new aluminum, which doesn't weigh that much, really, and a whole bunch of copper wire. Number one. Paul has been awesome enough to come over here and join me on my video today. Thank you, Paul, and say hello to all your friends. You got a lot of friends out there, Paul.
I don't know how.
To be sure, everybody say hey to Paul in my comments. Say hey to Paul in my comments. Somebody asked me, do I pay you to help me?
Maybe nobody of mine.
Huh? What's the truth?
Yeah, you pay me good.
I do.
I had no complaints.
I try to help out. I try to help out everybody. I mean, I'm not going to go out here. When he works for me by the hour, Paul, for the most part, what do you make an hour?
25.
Exactly. I can't pay somebody $25 an hour, obviously, for helping me do this. But when he's not helping me do the other, what are you doing?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Sitting on my butt.
Exactly. So he says, give me a call whenever you got something you want to mess with. So today, I knew I had some stuff to do. This right here, I want to get all my wire the hell out of here, and then start working on other stuff.
At least get separated.
At least get it separated. I'm not getting it out of here. I got to get it separated where it's ready to be moved around where it needs to be. Strip piles. I'm taking some of my wire as 60%. I'm going to take some of it as 40%. Anyways, I just had so much to do today. And Paul didn't have anything to do. At least not anything that he felt like doing. So I called him up this morning and said, Paul, let's go hang out. And Paul just put I had a doggy door, screen door type thing put on my back the other day, and to be honest, I didn't want to do it. So when I got home with Paul with the door, I helped him bring the door around, and then I took off inside and made a video. And Paul done the door. And yeah, it came out great. So yeah, it did. Paul, matter of fact, Paul, you did that door too. And I didn't have anything to do with it, but sometimes when you got something for Paul to do, make sure I'm getting you real good, Paul.
All right.
When you got something good, you want to just leave him alone.
Yeah, leave me alone.
So leave him alone. You go do your thing, and he will do his. And when he's finished with it, it will be great. You'll be like, oh, that's better than I thought it was going to be. I'm just ragging Paul. Yeah, Paul's awesome, and I've known Paul for a lot of years. 1984, we met. He was just a young punk, big time. I was 4 years older than you, by God. I had a little bit more smarts than you did.
No, I disagree with that.
Well, all right. I grew more smarts over the years. How about that?
There you go. That sounds better.
Anyway, we've known each other a long time. We like hanging out together. And yes, I do pay him scrapping, like I said, but I don't pay him $25 a damn hour. I don't think I
paid $7 an hour when you got started.
No. But he does get paid, and some days he gets paid more. It's according to how much we make it in the scrapyard. A day like this, pay him as little as I can. But yeah, as little as I can. We just have fun at it. That's all. I mean, really. I don't think Paul feels like he's over here doing a job.
No, I'm not doing a job.
There's a big difference between him doing a job and what we do.
I'm wide open.
You wouldn't want to work with Paul neither on a job site. He is non-stop.
Try.
Hurry up, hurry up.
Do this, do that.
I mean, get it done. People get tired of working for Paul after a while. Don't take long. He works way harder than they do. Most of the time. Yeah, they work with Paul a couple of days. They don't want to go back. Everybody thinks he needs to slow down. He needs to slow down.
What's my job?
Motivate. He's a motivator.
Make the boss man money.
He's a motivator. Make the boss man money. Well, fortunately, of course, I've told you over and over in these videos, that's not what we do anymore. Paul used to work for me by the hour. We don't do that anymore. Try not to. Now, well, he does work for me by the hour when I have a repair to do or something. Minor stuff. Or check out Drew's Roofing and Home Repair, The Travelers. And The Travelers. There were some good videos. And that's all we do anymore. If we do a job, like contracting job, it's just mobile home repair, travelers, or small repair jobs. And Paul does them, not me anymore. This is our job today. Until it's done, but okay, here I am peeling one that's empty. Peeling empty one.
Stay on the side. Stay on the side.
Huh?
Stay on the side.
You want steel?
And the aluminum down here.
All right, so they look just like the aluminum. So have they not oxidized?
Nope.
Let me show these guys on video. Where's the steel? Everything. No, none. All 100%. That one right here. See that? That's what the steel is. So 99.9% of this is aluminum. Here, I'll get the last steel one right here. It's not hard. And if you don't have anything but some time on your hands, like myself, I do work, yes. I have a whole crew that subcontracts for me. Well, I don't work, okay? I kind of allocate. Really? I think you call it allocating. You just get when you get somebody else to do it for you. I mean, you pay them, you know. So I get somebody else. That's steel. Shred. For me, that's 9 cents a pound. And this actually, wire, I don't want to mix this aluminum in with that big heavy duty aluminum. This is not the same. This is very thin. We just roll something like that up into a little ball, and you've been throwing them in there?
Yeah.
No. That's extruded. That is cast aluminum. We don't throw them in there. That's cast. That's cast. That should go in the pot outside. They go. It's cast aluminum. Yeah, there's different price on that. I don't mess up. I put a few of them in. But for the most part, you know.
I'm taking steel screws out of it.
Yeah, have to. Like I said, Paul threw away a few of these that were the connector type things. These are also considered a cast aluminum, and these are a different price. But what you'll find inside of these things is that right there. If you don't get rid of that little stinking piece of plastic, which is really nothing, I mean, it's nothing, they'll give you less money for it. So you want to separate these into their own pile. And it takes a few of them to add up, but it is a different price. I need needle nose basically to get that out. I still need to remove that piece. Look at there, sometimes it comes out with it. Throw away the plastic. Piece of aluminum, but this is different aluminum. And like I say, you get paid for this better money. They don't come out, reach in there and get them with something, you know. If it's not in there, throw it in your nice cast aluminum. Take that little screw out right there. Make sure there's no steel in your bin too. Make sure that that's a solid piece of aluminum. All of it, you want to get it all down. Now, I mean, you can put them in a bucket now and fill it up all over my grass or get it back in there. Get a flat tire. Heavy duty aluminum like this is, so probably go right in there. It's fine. Just want to make sure we get everything.
That's my spot.
Yes. I don't want them to cut me down on my money
Again.
for something stupid. Something stupid. Doesn't take much to get it started. And you can immediately tell, like I said, you can tell immediately whether it's aluminum. Look at that. Then look what you're left with. Look at all that goodness. Goodness. We're just getting started. We got a lot more. We got a lot more over there to do even.
God for shade.
Yes, thank the Lord for the shade you have provided.
This is man-made shade, but it's still shade.
Well, He provided you with the ability to put it up, Paul. For God, it would be nothing. If it wasn't for God, we wouldn't, all of us, be nothing. Paul, I was talking about my cancer way back a while. Somebody had the audacity when I was talking about prayer, you know, praying for me and praying for cures or praying for healing.
Yeah, right.
This guy literally said, "Oh yeah, well, why don't you just try praying and don't go to the doctors and see what happens. It ain't God, it's medicine that's saving you. Prayer ain't doing nothing for you."
I disagree with that.
Can you believe he said that?
I disagree with that.
Somebody actually said that on my channel.
Hey, 55 years old, don't go to the doctor.
No, Paul hasn't been in the doctor much. It's been a couple